Pregame.com.
Panthers at Texans. Houston opened up 6.5-point favorite. Total 46.5. Line still the same. Totals dropped down to 45. This is my best bet for the videos this week. I'm going to surprise some people here. I'm going to lay the chalk. Lay the chalk with the Houston Texans. And let me tell you why. Look ahead in this game at the Hilton was 4.5. That was an absolute joke based on T.J. Yates. You know, that was, no one knew how well he was going to do when that look ahead came out. I made my true line for this game, Houston minus 9.5. And I took 1.5 off for bias, because there is that bias towards a third-string quarterback. So even then, I think the line should be 8, above that 7 mark. Now, obviously, Carolina's been getting plenty of support because bettors like Cam Newton. And they'll find excuses and reasons to bet on them. But Carolina's a bad football team at 4-9. And many will think Houston clinched last week. You know, they got their first playoff the way they came back and won against Cincinnati. They celebrated. They have nothing to play for. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is a team that needs a first-round bye more than anybody to get healthy. And they're right there at 10-3 with the Steelers, Baltimore, Patriots. And those other clubs got some pretty tough games ahead of them. So this is an opportunity for Houston to jump up ahead of people. I think they're going to show up, and they're at home. And T.J. Yates, I think he's going to look like the Heisman winner in this one. Because down the stretch, Cam Newton, 16 interceptions. Come on, this year. 16. And now he's going up against Wade Phillips' defense. Good luck, Newton. You ain't staying within 7. I love Houston.
I think you're just prejudiced because the guy goes by initials in his name. RJ, VR,
TJ.
I mean, what's the deal around here? You got to go by initials to get some publicity.
They're betting the Heisman on this game. You know that.
Well, you know,
this is for Cam's Heisman.
It's interesting because this is about the point of the season where he's never played this many games before in a season. So you got to worry about his wear and tear, and he's one of those quarterbacks.
Good point.
Like a guy, I believe you may have heard of, Tim Tebow.
Learn something new from this guy every single time I sit down, no lie, and talk to you.
But it's a similar situation to Tebow. He puts his body out there. I mean, he takes a brunt of a lot of hits, and that's something you have to worry about this late in the season. My only concern is T.J. Yates a guy you want to lay this kind of number with?
I hear you.
The defense is there for Houston. They've been terrific defense.
And they know they got to show up. That's the key. If you knew you could rely on Matt Schaub and Johnson, you tend to relax. But, you know, it's like the Baltimore defense when they won the Super Bowl. You knew your offense ain't getting you more than 6 points. You know, you got to show up if you want to win a ball game.
Yeah, but you touched on it about Houston having a letdown for making the playoffs. That was huge. I mean, you read the Houston papers, you listen to the people. That was like a biggest monkey off of their back. And although they need to win to get the bye, they want to win to get the bye, there is a difference between a team making the playoffs, the motivation to make the playoffs, and the motivation to get a bye.
Yeah, or home field, sure.
We see it every year. You go down to the last couple of weeks, and in fact, there's been coaches that could possibly get to that point, and they'd change their lineup a little bit. And in reality, you know, I understand the bye situation because of an injury situation, but is it that much, if you're playing really well, is it that much of a deal? And we talked about this a minute ago in the college, you know, when you get that break between the games, to have that extra week off when Houston's not used to anything like this. They're used to playing every week because they don't make the playoffs. So even though there is motivation for it, they're still in the back of their minds thinking, okay, we got this big monkey off our back. And that's the one thing that's kept me off of Houston.
I'm going to be honest with you. The way I handicap games, the way I usually approach, you know, sports betting, this would be a stay away from me. If anything, more times than not, Houston would be an automatic fade. Because here we have a team that's won 7 straight and covered every game in that stretch, except for a push somewhere along the way. More times than not, I've been in this racket long enough to know a team on that kind of roll You're paying a premium, and you're paying a heavy premium. So, by going against them, by fading them, you're at least getting the best of the number. Maybe not the situation, maybe not the matchups, but the line's giving you value because they usually come out inflated. But this is the one time where that's just not the case because bettors aren't back in Houston. They're afraid to bet this team. It's kind of like, we missed it, now let's just wait till they finally lose one. Like no one wants to jump on late. And here's a team that's been rolling off wins like Denver did, and nobody's been making money with them. Otherwise, I'd be on the other side. I'd say this is an inflated line. It should be closer to 4. Let it get to 7, and I'm all over the dog. But because nobody's betting them, because a team that's covered all these in a row is usually an automatic fade, I think, if anything, we're getting a discount because of that, because nobody's really betting them. And here you have, Carolina, they've only won 2 games in their last 6. It was against the Colts and the Buccaneers, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. This isn't a good football team, and it may look square betting that big favorite, that hot team, but I'll tell you what, this team's rolling right now. They have a plus 90 ATS margin, which is ridiculous, and I think it just grows.
Well, part of the reason why they're not getting a lot of respect in the marketplace is because they're not a flashy team. They win with defense, and they've got a backup quarterback. So I think there is a little bit of
backup to the backup.
Yeah, there's some value there, and it's tough. And then I did it jokingly, but laying a touchdown with a third-string quarterback,
sure. That depends on a running game of Foster and Yates.
Right.
No, I agree, and that's the only reason I haven't said this is a definite premium play yet. But from the videos we're covering, based on my true line and the situation, it just screams of best bet for me. So I'm going to go ahead, lay the 6.5 with Houston, lay it now. I don't think it'll get to 7 because I do think the books will see two-way action. Carolina looks appealing getting all those points. And again, no one's been betting this Houston team. They didn't bet him against Cincinnati. I don't see why the bettors will jump on them now 7 games later. So 6.5 is good enough. That's my best bet. We're going to be back with Brian's best bet, and that's on the Cincinnati-St. Louis Rams game. Doesn't get bigger than that.